Hey, I'm Ken Shamrock, and you're here at inthecage.ca. Check it out.
Carlin Bardsley here for inthecage.ca with the man who needs no introduction anywhere in the civilized world, the UFC Hall of Famer, the world's most dangerous man himself, Ken Shamrock. Ken, welcome back to Toronto.
Well, thanks for having me. It's always great to be here. I was here last time. Met a lot of great fans, and we're going to do the same here.
And the last time we did talk, Dana White was a hot topic of conversation, but since we spoke, you two have mended fences. How did that go?
Well, you know, I heard the TMZ comment that he made, and when he made that comment, it was like the first thing out of his mouth was negative, almost like he didn't even get a chance to think about it. He just heard my name, and just immediately negativity came out of his mouth. And I didn't look at it like I was pointing a finger at him or like he was being completely negative towards me. I looked at it like that's what I was like. It seemed like anytime his name was brought up, the first thing that came to my mind was to say something negative, even if it didn't even warrant it. Like this incident with the bodyguard when he was asked about the body. It warranted nothing of negativity, but because we had been angry at each other for so long, it seemed like every time our name was brought up, the first thing we did was basically go into a defense mode and start spewing out negativity. And when he did that, I almost thought to myself, you know, it's time to stop. You know, it's just, I'm tired. It's like I was tired of like always having to defend myself, always having to speak negativity. Every time he spoke, I felt like I had to defend myself. Even if it wasn't anything negative, it just felt like that's the position we were in all the time. And so finally I just said, you know what, I think it's time, man. We just need to put this behind us. And fortunate for me, I think he was feeling kind of the same way because he picked up the phone as soon as I told TMZ, you know, I think it's time me and Dana just squash this. He said, because we owe it to the fans, we owe it to MMA, we owe it to ourselves to start moving forward and being positive about things. And he picked up the phone and called me not too long after that when TMZ went back and told him I wanted to squash it. So I think it's a good thing. I think it can't be anything but good for MMA. Doesn't mean we don't both still believe in some of the things that we believe in. I think we were both trying to do the same thing. For me, it was like a child of mine that I lost and I wanted to get back. Like I felt like I was being alienated from my family, and I wanted to get it back. And some of the things I was doing was probably negative and not the right way, but some of it was just to protect it. And I think we both had the same instincts in mind, is to protect what we have built. Him in the more of the creative way, and me in more of the launching and being a part of the history of bringing it where it needs to be as far as fan base and people wanting to watch it. And I felt I was a big part of that along with a lot of other guys. So for me, it just felt like something was missing, and I was always trying to fight to get it back. For him, it was a protection thing and trying to make sure it was going in the right direction and not going under. So we both were fighting the same things. Sometimes I think we didn't even realize what we were even saying at times because we were fighting for so long. So I'm glad it's over. I'm glad that we're moving forward and that there's nothing but the bright future in front of us.
So when Dana made that initial phone call, how did that go? Was he automatically a conciliatory tone, or did you guys have to kind of feel each other out like a couple of fighters?
It was definitely, some sparring going on. But because I was at that point where I was just tired of always consistently fighting over something that wasn't really going anywhere. It was almost like kicking a dead horse. It was not going to wait. It wasn't going to get back up. And so I just got to a point to where, let's just get by this. You believe what you believe. I think I stood up for what I thought was right. But I think we can come together and kind of figure out a way we can both move forward and do the right thing for MMA. And I think that's what we did during that conversation. Even though there was some sparring going on, I think we both realized that we weren't going to go anywhere and get anything done if we couldn't put it behind us.
Right. So what's the status with you in the UFC right now? Can we see you as one of the legends that UFC brings out on occasion, like Chuck Liddell or Matt Hughes? Are you going to be involved with the company going forward?
Well, I would hope so. I mean, I don't see any reason why it wouldn't be. I know they're real busy right now. They've got a lot going on internationally, a lot of stuff happening in the UFC. So I would imagine sometime or another we could put something together where I could be more involved. But But right now, I've got a lot of things happening, and I've got a lot of things going on. You know, I got a new drink coming out. You know, my website's being launched on Wednesday, KenShamrock.com, and so that's going to back up my Twitter, which is already going, my Facebook, my Instagram. So we're doing a lot of things right now, trying to rebrand Ken Shamrock into more of the business world. I'm also gotten involved with the stock market. I'm actually taking some tutorial classes with Grok trading. A good friend of mine who owns it is mentoring me. So I'm rebranding myself, and I'm moving in a different direction. But at the same time, I'm still part of MMA. That's my history. That's my background. That's my DNA, and I'll never ever leave that. So.
And your brother Frank is in the business world as well. We last saw him on Spike TV with the Randy Couture and the Gym Wars show. What's the status with you and Frank? Obviously, you've been one way and the other. What's the status nowadays?
Well, you know, we're trying to figure out something that we can actually get together and get done. Come up with a couple ideas. I wasn't comfortable with some of them, and he was doing a lot of the work, and I really couldn't get involved a whole lot because I was kind of trying to build this brand that I'm doing right now. So, but eventually in the future, hopefully we'll find something that we can actually do some business on together, so that we can still build that bridge and be able to put a lot of that bad time behind us and move forward.
You buried the hatchet with Dana, you buried the hatchet with Tito, you buried the hatchet with Frank. Is this just part of growing up? Is this a more mature Ken Shamrock I'm seeing in front of me?
Well, you know, I mean, when you're a fighter, there's a certain mentality that you have, and I think you see it a lot in fighters where they're so focused, they're direct, and then when someone crosses them or they feel like they've been crossed, their defenses come up, their fight instincts come up. But I think when you see fighters get older and they get out of the fight game and they're out of it for a little while after they accept the fact that they're done, they're not those people anymore. They don't have to be tough anymore. I think you start seeing guys grow up a little bit more. They start taking a different responsibility, or at least the ones that are going to make it will start taking a different direction, rebrand themselves, and start doing other things. And so I've realized that I'm not that person, and not to say is that during those times that's how I had to be. I mean, that's what made me great, was the determination that I had and the never give up and never quit attitude I had. But it doesn't work well in business, and it doesn't work well when you come to the end of the road and you're retiring. People are forcing you to go in those directions. It doesn't work well with that attitude, and so it was a lot of growing up that had to be done, a lot of acceptance that had to go into that, and then also at the same time while that's happening, you got to rebrand yourself so that way you have another opportunity to be successful. Because if you have that never give up quit attitude and you were successful in fighting, if you can change that around and go in the business world and keep the same mentality but direct it into business, there's no reason why you can't be successful there also.
And the other topic that you've been speaking out a lot about the past few months is performance-enhancing drugs. We talked about it. You talked about it very famously on Access TV. Did you broach that subject with Dana White when you talked to him?
No way. Dana White and myself, basically, we had to really dig into trying to get past the anger, the frustration, and the things that we had done to each other over the years. We had to get past that. And just because you talk about it over the phone one time doesn't mean there isn't still some edginess there, and there's still some uncertainty there. I went to the the Fan Fest, and then I went to 2 fights after that, and I sat like in the 3rd row at the fights when Cheetah fought, and when Cheetah and Weidman fought, and then Ronda Rousey fought, and then BJ Penn the next night. And I was like sitting on the edge of my seat because here I was sitting there watching these fights, and I hadn't been to a fight in I don't know how long. And here I was sitting in the middle of all these guys who I'd been fighting with and arguing with for years and years, and I didn't know what to say to anybody. I mean, I literally didn't know what to say to anybody because I was sitting there and I felt so uncomfortable because I really didn't know what to say. I was there with my wife, and basically I could fight it in her comfort. Because it was everybody else around me, was like, dude, I've been fighting with you guys forever. I'm not even sure what they're thinking. So it's going to take some time for everybody to get used to me and me to get used to them.
And you saw BJ Penn fight against Frank Yeager. Was it tough watching BJ Penn, another legend of the sport, go out the way a lot of older fighters do? Because fighting, it waits for no man.
Well, it's for some of them, you know it going in, like BJ Penn knew it going in. And for some of them don't notice it until after the fight, and that was Machida. He fought a guy in Weidman, and Machida, the same with Silva. Their reaction time that you've noticed, even with Silva the last 2 times he fought Weidman, and then Machida, when he fought him this last time, you could tell that their reaction time isn't where it used to be at that elite level. Now they're great fighters. They're still great fighters. It was a great fight. But that reaction time has slowed down just enough to make them a great fighter, not an elite fighter. And I think that's what happens to fighters, is they don't even realize what happens. I've studied it, tried to understand it, why I wasn't where I was at when I came back to pro wrestling. Why? I had a knee injury, and I remembered I was getting hit a lot more, and for the longest time, and I talked to different doctors and this and that, and then I finally had a guy say it's not anything to do with it, it has to do with your reaction time. When you were at the top of your game and you were in great shape and you didn't have any injuries and nothing slowing you down, your reaction time was at that elite level. You knew before the guys were ever going to do it. You see it in their eyes, you see a twitch. You saw all that stuff happening before the punch ever came. He says that's where you lose. That's when you get older. Your eyesight goes a little bit, or your reaction time slows down a little bit, or you get an injury, a knee injury, shoulder injury. Anything that would slow you down just a fraction of a second is the difference between getting caught and not getting caught. And I was like, that makes sense, because for the longest time I kept getting hit more. I couldn't figure out why. I thought maybe it was this, maybe it was this. But it really is when you get older, the first thing that goes is your reaction.
Yeah. And just to circle back a little bit to the PED situation, it seems with the more competition testing the UFC does, the more guys that are getting caught. Chael Sonnen, the latest name on that list. What was your reaction to that situation?
It doesn't surprise me. People get mad at me all the time when they say, listen, it's the world we live in. And we've been living in this world for a long time. We've all been sticking our heads in the sand. Everybody, media, sports trainers, athletes, we all know what's going on. We know what's out there. We know how many people are using it. The fans know. Some of the fans do that are diehards. So it really upsets me when someone gets caught and everybody's so shocked. You know, it's like, come on, don't be stupid. Don't act like that. Don't think you didn't know, because everybody knows. The problem is that we're not figuring out a way to make it safe. Figuring out a way. It's here. It's here. It's like pot. Pot's here. Now, you're either going to figure out a way to try and regulate it or to do something, or you're going to find a way to not let it get in. Legalize it and make sure it stays out. And don't go here and don't go there saying, well, we're doing this, but you're really not. But there's an abuse going on because people have to hide it. And they can't go under a doctor's care, because they go under a doctor's care, then doctor has to say that, and then fighters can lose his license because they're under a doctor's care. If they would say, listen, we understand it's here, either we're going to get rid of it, which would cost billions of dollars to try and do all the testing and really try to get it out of every sport there is, or we figure out a way to legalize it like they are pot, put it under a certain safe level, whatever level is in your body, like they test right now, at certain levels that you're over, you're dirty. They can put under a doctor's care. You have to get your own doctor to go under this. You have to be a pro, and the doctors have to regulate you on your own dime. As a fighter's own dime has to get their own doctors to do it. And then when they test, like they test now, they can be at a certain level which would be healthy, which also would help these guys recover a lot more, be able to be the athlete they need to be, and they don't got to go on the black market to get it, because it's here. Fighters are using it. Let's not stick our heads in the sand and pretend it's not a problem, because it is. And now we just have to figure out, okay, it's here, we know we can't get rid of it, so how do we accept it and make it safe? That's the question.
That's a very good question, and Ken, I thank you so much for your time today. Anything else you want to leave a message for the fans with?
I just want to say thank you over the years for following me, supporting me. I know right now, it's been a huge fan support over the last year, getting a huge support from the fans. I thank you so much for that. It's like a resurgence in my career. I appreciate it. Thank you. I know on Wednesday, which is next week, my Facebook is going to launch, and my website. My Facebook's already there, my Twitter's already there, my Instagram, but my website houses all that. On Wednesday, we're launching that. If you go on right now on my website at kenshamrock.com, a flash page would come up. You give your information on that flash page. On Wednesday, when we launch our website, we will send you a personal invite from me so you can view the website first when it comes out on Wednesday.
Sounds like a great plan. I'm looking forward to the website. The world's most dangerous man, Ken Shamrock, for inthecage.ca.